So I know what you're thinking. Who are the filter? Because you won't have heard of us probably. We are about 12 years old. We're actually a global leader in personalisation solutions for entertainment. We sit on set-top boxes and on websites and apps for people like BT Television, BT Sport, UK TV, SBS, the national broadcaster of Australia. We've been doing that for years. We started off actually as a music recommendation engine, co-funded by the rock musician Peter Gabriel, who you will have heard of. He's touring with Sting right now, excellent show. About 3 years ago, we decided to start working towards a retail solution. We noticed that there was a need for what we did in retail, not just a recommendation engine, but a merchandising platform. And we spent a lot of time listening to retailers, going out talking to retailers, and we're now competing with the likes of Attract and Rich Relevance, Pirius, Qubit, that kind of people. And we've picked up our first handful of retail clients. Apologies for the old school paper notes here, we've got some tech issues. We've got a pretty decent, prolific retail and tech blog. We blog on all sorts of subjects, always tech, always retail, quite often fashion. Recent subjects, artificial intelligence, virtual reality and fashion, beacon technology. We focus particularly on subjects relating to the shopping journey and the discovery process. If you want to follow the blog, I recommend it's getting quite a lot of views at the moment. You can follow us on Twitter and we'll let you know when there's a new one, or just visit the site. Okay. So we believe that the online store should echo the offline experience. The filter, I guess, is like that smart shop assistant, the experienced shop assistant that knows when to stand back and let you browse, let you explore and discover, but is there waiting for you to pick up an item, maybe two items, and compare them, and we'll step forward and assist you in making your decision. He'll then slowly guide you over to the till and extract your money from you. It's actually quite a nice experience when it's right offline, and our vision is to try and echo that online. So there you go. Yeah, an online store should be a destination that delivers a comparable experience to bricks and mortar. So there are two kind of key aspects to doing this. The first one is the visual merchandising. You'll know of visual merchandising. You may not know it under that name. It's the trick that supermarkets in particular use. It's about a really nice display of your inventory. They'll do things in store like put things in the line of sight, put things next to other things, put things on the end of the aisle. They even go as far as actually selling the prime spots to certain brands. Visual merchandising also occurs in print, in catalogues. And we used to the IKEA catalogue where they make everything look much better than it does in your house. Has anybody ever seen a pyramid of tins in an actual supermarket that wasn't in a film? No, I didn't think so. But that's kind of what you're led to believe visual merchandising is. Online, it can be more powerful because we can bring in content, we can knit content and product together, and the whole thing can be personalised. So in the offline store, everybody walks the same aisles. In the online store, we can create something a bit unique. Talking of personalisation, here's just a bunch of stats that we found online from reputable sources. I'll just sort of let you absorb those for a minute. I mean, most importantly, I think for me, is the two blue ones. Depending on who you believe, 70 or 75% of shoppers prefer a personalised experience from brands and stores. And then that one in the top left is sort of at odds with that. Only 33% of online retailers are actually doing it at the moment. So there's a gap there that we hope to fill. can try not to make this too pitchy, just tell you what we are though. I mean, the filter achieves this with a set of simple editorial controls that live on a console. If you want to put that product in that position, it's easy. It's actually quite hard to do in a lot of retail platforms is to get control over what goes where, product and content, without needing to edit HTML or publish files. We've brought forward our personalisation and our recommendation engines from the old media days. We've updated it, we've improved the algorithms, we've tuned it for retail, and we can now cross-recommend from product to content and vice versa. So you don't have to link that product with that buying guide or that user manual or that demonstration video. We've managed to work out how to link all that automatically. And then we've invented this thing called journey optimisation. We've invented our version of it, where we can actually content knit at different levels for different stages in the journey. So we'll come on to a little bit more about what that is in a minute. I mean, our vision is always to both inspire and persuade at each stage of the journey. And I'll come back to those two words later on. So let's just have a look in the real world a minute. I'm going to look at some home pages just for fun, to see sort of the state of the art. John Lewis, obviously, I haven't bothered trying to get all the scrolling working, but it's full of content, and it feels a bit like a scattergun. It's almost like a little bit of everything, hoping to get my interest in something. They've clearly understood the importance of content, but the truth is I've shopped in John Lewis 2 or 3 times over the last 6 months, and yet they don't seem to know if I'm a woman or a man or whether I have kids. There's no intelligence there. Now I know I'm not logged in, but even so, they could be tracking me with a simple cookie or something like that, but they haven't. Everybody's seeing the same aisles. Argos is very similar actually. And it's not that they haven't got the content. Argos have got hundreds and hundreds of pieces of content. If you drill down through the navigation, you can find, you know, barbecue buying guides and, you know, when's the best time to mow your lawn. It's all in there. But somebody is curating it for the homepage. So every category I visit, somebody is bringing what's the freshest content we've got and curating it. And it must be costing them a fortune to do. It's a lot of work keeping it fresh and relevant. And actually, when I visit the site, 80%, 90% of what I'm seeing is irrelevant to me. And the story goes on. Next, House of Fraser, they've all kind of got the importance of content. It's almost like the pendulum has swung from products completely over to content now. At least ASOS and Ted Baker are doing the simplest thing. They're remembering my gender. Actually, if I come down here, I've got 2 completely different browsers. I've got Chrome and I've got Safari. And if I go to, can you see that? Yeah. If I go to tedbaker.com, sorry, I'm trying to type here. On the Chrome, they recognise that I'm a man. I've been there before. I've never visited Ted Baker before today on Safari. Completely different homepage. And it's not hard, it's really simple. If I go and look at women's clothes, very similar homepage. Now if I were to close that down and go back, they've remembered it. Gets me one click closer to where I want to be, right? In a really, really simple way. And I guess that's the most basic form of journey optimization that's out there at the moment. I don't suppose many of you have seen that page. That's the Amazon page if you've never shopped there. Interestingly, they have very little content. It's all product now. But we know what happens when you start to shop. Buckets of content relevant to you, ordered in a different way. It almost feels like Netflix, which is kind of why we thought we could get into retail, really. You know, we've been powering Netflix-style services for years. And when retail services started to look like digital entertainment services, we figured we should do this. We could do it better. There are some products on the House of Fraser website. I don't know if you can see that. I've trimmed there. This is right at the bottom, and they are now competing with the content. So we've got some basic, popularity stuff there, but it is very hard to find it. Feels like the marketing team and the e-commerce teams are fighting. The marketing team wants to talk about brand, and it wants to talk about content, and it wants to search optimize, and the e-commerce team wants to sell more of these because they're overstock, and more of these because they're selling well, more of these because they're really profitable. And there's this constant battle, and when we talk to retailers, we actually navigating the different structures of the retail businesses is quite hard, but you often find there are these two camps, and they are, one is clearly in control of the homepage and one isn't. I'm not going to bore you. There's more. Game typical. They're showing me Xbox content and PS4 content. I don't own both. So it's clear your retail web pages, they've got two jobs: to inspire and to persuade. And it's about choosing when the right time is to do both. It's never the right time to do both, but which should you be doing? Should you be inspiring people to discover new things with content, to learn your brand values, or should you be actually pulling them over the line and getting them to check out? Coming back to that sales advisor in the shop that we said the filter is like the experienced shop advisor. If you came back into the store for the third time that week and picked up the same camera, and the store assistant recognised you and just said, "Anything I can help you with today?" It would be a bit weird. He knows you've got an interest. He's built a relationship with you. Maybe he's already advised you on the camera. He's more likely to say, "Are you back to pick it up today, sir? Come to the till now. I'll give you 5% off." So there's quite a lot of research about consumer behaviours. This is just a small sample of the consumer behaviour models that exist. What I'd like to do now is go through each of these one by one in detail and talk about the differences and the approaches and similarities. But I'm not going to do that. So one person sighed. Oh. Maybe afterwards. Okay. Broadly, they're in 5 groups, which are the 5 across the top: economic, psychological, sociological, social, and anthropological. I can't say that. All kicked off by Engel, Collett, and Blackwell in 1960. And for me, that's still one of the best. There's a lot of names on there. A lot of PhDs been really earned off the back of the same piece of work that Engel, Collett and Blackwell have done. A lot of the outcomes do end up looking quite similar. One thing that they do kind of agree on is that not every customer is the same. Each of those models is trying to focus on what's the best thing to do at each stage in a retail journey. And you can see by the dates of those, most of them are focused on an offline retail journey where there are skilled salespeople, where they've got body language and eyes and ears and relationships with customers to rely on. Online, we haven't had a lot of that. So these studies have been largely ignored online because we've got one set of web pages that we can present to a customer. But those patterns are really still relevant. There are different behaviours, different stages in the journey that we can do better with. We don't have to take one path through the web. Through the store. We can use the web to take multiple paths. So all of those studies, there are many of them, there are many more that weren't on that page. We've kind of distilled it down so that we can take our first stab at journey optimization. All of those models start with an awareness, a customer awareness of a product, and they all end with sort of customer loyalty to the brand. And they go through various different phases on the way. But some kind of discovery phase where I find out stuff, I create a need, I find out about a need, I realise I always wanted that thing. Some kind of research where I compare products, brands, prices, make my choice, and then some kind of purchase phase where I actually pay my money. So we decided just to look at these three and see if we could identify whether users were in one of these three phases when they were visiting our customers' stores. We figured if we can work out they're in the discover phase, we might be able to engage them with perfect content. We might be able to just inspire them to look at something that they didn't know they were interested in. Oh, lawnmowers. Yeah, it's that time of year. If we could find out they were in the research phase, we could blend products and content. We could give them relevant products and then the content to help them decide how to choose. And obviously, if we worked out that they were about to purchase anytime soon, we could clear all the content away. We could just put offers and vouchers and free shipping and encourage them to get over the line. So that was the plan. So this is kind of what our 4 engines look like at the filter. And you can see this journey optimization engine. This is kind of the new one that we bolted on the front. We already had our recommendation engine. That works by building a list of candidate items. So you might have 10,000 products in a store. The recommendation is there to distill that number down into 6 or 8 or however many you can display on a page. And it does that using your personal taste. We build a taste profile for every shopper. It does that by looking at similarity of descriptions. This item is like that item in description. It does it by working out, it's the people who bought this also bought that, essentially. It uses kind of collaborative filtering based algorithms. And it uses popularity as well. So the recommendation is there building a candidate list of products and a candidate list of content that we might like to show you at any context. The personalization engine is filtering that by the attributes of the things that you've previously bought, your taste profile. And then the green side is the rules engine. So once we've got this candidate list of things we'd like to show you, we worked out quite quickly that retailers, though they like algorithms, they like recommendations, they don't kind of fully trust them. They want to be able to say, I don't want to show something that isn't in stock, ever again, please. Like I say, they want to take this item, this Pokemon Go stuffed toy, and put it top left of the website. And the rules engine allows them to actually both editorialize and filter and boost based on business rules. I bought too many green umbrellas. If this client has ever bought anything green or lives somewhere where it's raining right now, push green umbrellas to the top. That kind of actual, business rules and editorialization and curation sits at that end. So we've added the journey optimization now, so we can choose a different path depending on which journey they're on. And ultimately, we then deliver the correct blend of product and content for that user in that context and on that device. I'll just try and get back up to date with my notes. Okay. So how do we go about it? Well, it's quite a complex task working out where you are before you got there. It always is. But predictive analytics is what we've done at the filter for 12 years now. It is a complex task. There's about 31 different things we ended up looking for. This is the selection of the readable ones. A lot of them were kind of, you can't actually write a sentence to describe them. It's where the data scientists get involved. But you can see there's a bunch of things that might be relevant here, and some of them are very relevant and some of them are less relevant, but they all contribute to a model. And what I'd like to do now is go through each one of these in detail and compare them. No, I'm just going to look at 2 of them. Search terms, really important. Is anybody considering a purchase right now? Nobody. Justin, can you give me a search term? What? So you're considering a purchase, and Glasgow is what you search for. Yeah. Is anybody considering purchasing a physical item? Or is it a physical item?
It is a physical item.
Okay, so that's quite a specific search term. So I'm guessing you've done some research already, and you've narrowed it down to, is Glasgow a brand? Help me out.
Where was it? Do you want to tell you what it was?
Yeah.
It's an aircraft ticket to Glasgow.
Right, okay, oh, yeah, physical. Right, okay.
It's kind of physical.
It is.
I wasn't planning on buying Glasgow, if that's what you're doing.
No, okay.
Although it's going cheap, apparently.
Okay. So it's quite a specific term. I mean, Glasgow, yeah, has a context to it as well. So, and that's something I wasn't going to cover in this. Go on then, another one.
It's Channel Pilot.
Channel Pilot. Really helps if I know what it is, actually. What is it?
It's a Channel Pilot book that tells you about all the ports around the channel.
Oh, okay. So it's the name of a product. Okay, we'll see where you are when we look at the theory now. So search for camping gear. Obviously, that's quite generic. We don't, it doesn't match an actual product. It's maybe a category. So we might put somebody looking at maybe a category where there's a category match with the search term in our store. We might say they are a discoverer. They haven't really fully identified a specific need. There's an area of interest there, and that might be useful to us. A 65-litre rucksack. That's a different search term completely. It's not an exact product match, but there's definitely, we're down into subcategory or subcategory level. We've actually specified one or more of the attributes of the product. We're definitely into research territory there, right? So we haven't picked a brand, we haven't picked a specific product, but we know that we've got some requirements to work with. There might be 2 or 3 different options we could show at that point. Maybe they need some help on brands here. The Van Gogh Sherpa 65 litre, that's an exact match. That hits an item in our product catalogue. We know if they've searched for that and they've arrived on our store, all they really want to know is how much does it cost and when can I get it? So they're in a purchase journey. So we would show those 3 search terms a completely different journey. Yeah, the camping gear, well, we'd show them a selection of different categories within the camping section. 65-litre rucksack, right, we're straight into this category. We're showing you a selection of brands at different prices, and then we're showing you some content to help you decide. And the Van Gogh Sherpa, well, we might show you some accessories to go with it, but all the content's going to be gone, and free shipping is going to be there. Check out now, 10% discount, all the tricks that we're going to use to get you over the line. So sorry, what was it? Channel?
It was a book.
Okay.
It was actually Channel Pilot, so...
Right, so that's probably down here. Yeah, it's going to match an exact title that I've got in my store, and I'm thinking that, if I offered it to you at the right price now and said you can have it tomorrow, you'd probably buy.
Damn right. Yeah.
Damn right. Okay. It's basic, but it gives you an idea of the kind of things that we're doing. Shopping baskets are interesting things. So this is the second one we'll look at. So let's add an item into our shopping basket. It's a compact camera. So that's a pretty definite and positive action that we might want to track. We would look at that and say, well, you may be in the purchase phase, maybe. You may be in the research phase. You're not in discovery mode because you've identified a need. You've been pretty specific. I want a camera, and right now I might want that camera. Okay. So it's not always 100%. This is definitely a purchaser or definitely a discoverer, but with all the other things we're looking at, we might get a better hint. What about that one? What do we think about that one? So I've added 3 cameras into my basket. Research. Exactly. In this particular case, we really don't know much about cameras. We've added a paparazzi style huge thing and a compact Polaroid there. The broader the range that get added to a basket, the less mature I am in my decision making. Okay, if I put 2 things that look like that, then I'm further down the line. This looks like quite a, I'm really at the start of my journey. So we're definitely researching, and in fact, because of the broadness of the range here of items in the basket, we're possibly still in discover mode. Okay. So now I'm going to take 2 of those items out of the basket. This is the strongest signal that we've got, actually, of all the things we looked at. Bizarrely, removing an item from your basket is the clearest signal that you're about to buy within this session. And when my data scientist said that to me, I said, what? And then I thought about it and I looked at things like this. And of course, we all use our baskets to compare items. As soon as you start to remove items, you're narrowing down your choice you might be about to buy. When you get down to that last one item, you've made your decision. Now's the time to take all the content away and get you over the line. Okay. It's not a dead cert. People remove things from their basket all the time, but it's a real strong indicator. That all make sense? So multiply that by 31 and you kind of get where we're heading. Okay, so yeah, that's a definite purchase action. So the idea is that we use the same page structure and template for each one of the journeys. So here's a discovery example. We know nothing about this person's intentions. They've displayed discoverer traits. So there's a bit of brand value going on here, brand messaging. We're high-end accessories at discount price. We've got some items to pick from we might interest you, and quite a bit of content. Free delivery, urban summer, festival wear. We're trying to inspire you. When you get into the research phase, so for this example, this person's clearly been looking at a couple of different sunglasses. We've got a sense that there's a need there. They're now just trying to decide. The content's changed to sunglasses brands and a buying guide, which are the 5 best. And the products are the ones that you've been looking at the most, and equivalents. So we're trying to help you narrow down, trying to help you decide. And then when we sense you're in purchase mode, well, as you say, all the content's gone. We're now talking about free delivery. We're helping you narrow down even further. We've got the brand that you want. And actually, the other products, well, this content's gone completely and it's been replaced by other products that you might buy to go with, complete the outfit or, accessories, the case for the camera or whatever. The template of the page is the same, but what the filter are doing is they're essentially suggesting the right items of product or content for this user in this context. And obviously it works on mobile as well. And the profile can be different for different devices. So you might display more of a buying pattern on a laptop and a browsing pattern on a mobile, or the other way around. That will be part of your personal profile. Clearly, there are some major benefits to this. This is what we set out to achieve: engaging customers to build brand loyalty. This is something we've always been tasked to do in our subscription model entertainment systems. It's more about engagement than purchasing. But we thought it would be a good idea to try and increase the average order values, basket sizes and lifetime values. Try and make the best return on that content marketing investment. We've seen from the homepages we saw earlier how much investment's gone into that content marketing. And people are really hoping to see that pay off. And then to personalise the experience across multiple channels and devices. There's a whole bunch of other things. If anything on here floats your boat, resonates with you, then journey optimisation could help. We've seen some successes already with our early customers, an average of 2 fewer clicks to find your item. So in that purchase journey, fewer clicks to actually get checked out. So that's a major benefit for customers and for retailers. We've seen average basket values increase by 16% when using journey optimization. So it's quite significant. We're seeing more content consumed. You can't put a price on that really, but more repeat visits, and that will clearly lead to a higher customer lifetime value if people are coming back more often and consuming the content. So really, why now, and why do this? To summarise, really, the retailers we're talking to are saying they want control over their inventory and their content. They want to decide what gets shown when. They're happy to leverage personalisation algorithms and recommendation engines, but they don't want to cede control completely. So we have this hybrid approach where you've always got that rules engine, that editorial engine on the right-hand side to filter, but the algorithm is there to kind of help you. Current solutions are sort of providing a disjointed experience. We're seeing a lot of pages, product pages and things with content and curated products on one side, and then the kind of right-hand column where a recommendation engine sits. And it sort of jars because they can be showing completely different things, or sometimes you'll see duplicates, and it just kind of doesn't feel like it's a cohesive page. And retailers are always looking for an edge. They're always looking for something else. So when we've shown journey optimization to retailers, they've really got on board with it, really been quite keen to learn more. Because anything that can cut the costs in curation and improve the bottom line and be slightly different is good. So happy to say that our first Magento customer is signed, the deal is done, and they're integrating now. It's a Magento 2 customer, Gift Universe. They have 2 retail brands, and we look forward to them going live very shortly. And if you're interested in what we do, get online, book a demo. Now, I was meant to be at the end, so I'll come back and show this slide later. Thank you very much.
So, questions? Anyone? Good. Okay.
I know what you want to ask. I'll
get
answer that one later. Go on.
That will be nice. First hand was that.
Thank you. Wow, I'm holding it. Could you give us some more insight to how the Magento integration works?
Yes. Well, so we don't have a Magento module yet for Magento 2. So that integration is directly through our APIs. We have 3 RESTful APIs, one for the catalog, one for the event integration, and one for actually pulling the items down to display. They're all Swagger documented, executable online, and it's really simple. The customer that we're talking to is saying actually they're happy with that. They don't really want they don't want a Magento extension, so we're going to see how that works. But I'm really happy to talk to you about what you think you'd prefer. Is that enough? I'm not really that techie.
That's right. I'm also interested in what pricing is.
We can talk about that. Yep.
Yeah, that was my question too. So what's the pricing model? I know you have a Magento 1 module because obviously, not obviously at all, but you've got a very reputable agency to build it for you.
Did we get 2 done?
And obviously, I'm sure you can demo that to us in due course.
Yep.
But the pricing model is really what I was interested in. How does it work from a pricing point of view?
Yeah, so we charge by the 1,000 API calls, essentially. We don't charge for the event API calls. We don't charge for the catalog API calls. It's just where you populate the slots within the template. We charge for every 1,000 of those, and it does greatly depend on the size of the catalog and how many users, how many shoppers.
So for a should we say a 2 million turnover type customer?
Yeah.
doing, shall we say, I don't know, 50,000 uniques,
Yep.
100,000 uniques a month visits, how much is that likely to be?
So I haven't got the calculations in my head. Actually, our commercial team is here. Ian is here at the back. Have a chat with Ian and Neil as well in the check shirt there. Obviously, it has to work for all parties, right? I mean, it has to work for us. It has to work for the retailer. It has to work for the integrator as well. We're at an early stage with this, and we are testing different models. So, come and talk to us. Give us your numbers, and our aim is to try and make it work for everybody.
And does that mean you'd be prepared to do some good deals if it's kind of early adoption stage?
Always.
Justin is now moving from the discover phase into the research phase. Yes, we want to get more retail logos on our website. We want to move from half a dozen up to 20 quite rapidly. So yeah, now's a good time. Come and talk to us.
And for those Magento 1 customers, I presume, obviously there's the module will make it nice and seamless and quick
Yes.
to install. Great.
Okay.
For the streaming, I think they need to hear you on the.
It's quite a crowded market for personalization and recommendation engines.
Yeah.
How do you see yourselves differentiating yourself away from the likes of Attract, Imperius, and Nosto?
Yeah. So some are focusing on the bottom end of the market, some the very top end of the market. The main differentiator for us is the journey optimization combined with the personalization, the recommendations, and the simple editorial console. I just wouldn't have had time to demo the console to you today, but it's a natural language, very easy, simple way of expressing business rules, and that combined with the journey optimization makes it incredibly powerful. I think when you look at the competition, nobody's really taking that hybrid approach of the man assisted by the machine. Please.
One thing I would add to that also is that through the conversation. Sorry. Hello. Can you hear me? No, it doesn't really. Through the conversations that we've had with retailers, one of the things that they really don't like is this black box approach where they don't really have much control, and there's quite a closed book approach by some of those merchandising providers. I'm not going to say all of them, and I certainly wouldn't mention any of them. The one thing that is very different about what we do is that we're very collaborative. So as well as having a fantastic platform, we're very keen to work with retailers to make sure they are both happy with how it works, able to use it properly, and have full transparency in terms of what it can do, how to use it the most efficiently for them. And I think that's a real key differentiator. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
I could even do a 1 minute demo. We use things called recipes to create the blend of products and content and rules. So we might start with a discovery recipe that is all articles and content. We might then choose a facial peel. I don't know. I'm getting out of my comfort zone now. Facial peel, and then we come into the research recipe, and you can see that what it's pulled out is 3 alternatives and an article, and the article is make your facial last longer. Now nobody has linked that article with that product or these products. The filter engine has pulled that out. What we have specified is that for a researcher, there should be relevant content and some alternatives. Whereas for a purchaser, there's no content at all. It's just accessories from the same brand, for example. And the recipes are very nice to create. You can choose your sort of classic recommendation engine algorithms as the base, such as similar items. Then you can tune them in certain ways, only show items or don't show items, or move things up or down the list based on the values of attributes compared to the seeds and that kind of thing. You can limit items based on, don't show more than 2 things from the same brand, for example. Don't show anything more than double the price of the thing you're looking at. All that kind of control is here. If we can say, I'm kind of only show items where the colour equals the same as the seed item, but you can say only do that when the item you're looking at is not equal to red, or that sort of thing, or it's raining where you are, or the user has bought something red before. So it's all kind of nice and easy to use. Here you are, unexpected demo.
Menkind, obviously they've been on Magento for quite a while. They're quite a well-known Magento brand.
Yeah.
What made them choose you, and what were they? I presume they were using personalization before. Do you know who they were using before?
Ian, do you want to take that one?
I do. They were using a track.
Okay.
And there was 2 main reasons. There was simply comparing what we do and what they do, and they preferred what we did. But also commercially we were better, much more competitively commercially.
When you say commercially, you mean cheaper?
Yes, but also not just cheaper, but also the flexibility of our model was much better for how they work. So.
Okay.
So now is a good time to talk to us, because we are flexible. But just in case the guys on the video didn't get that, so it was attract, and they liked what we do, and we were more flexible commercially. Cool. Thank you very much.